So I don't know if you wanted to give another reading if you're prepared to do so, or.
I don't have any other parts picked out, I don't think.
Well,
I could do. Yeah.
so some of chapter 5 might be pretty
Chapter
fun.
5.
Page 87.
87. Oh, yeah. No, I want to save chapter 5 for the people who read the book. I gave you the suspenseful chapter reading of chapter 9. You need to read chapter 5 if you read the book, though, because it's fun. It is some good adventurous fun.
It is. All right. Well, what about. Let's see. Chapter 6, page 117.
Oh, okay. Page 117. Oh yeah, this is a fun slice of life chapter. Okay, I can do this. October was a busy month for the Bureau. Following Ella's recovery, she quickly discovered that due to the publicity from the paper, they were getting a large influx of jobs in the city. This normally happens when we do anything big. It dies down after a month or so, Zach had explained. You should have seen how much work we got when Denji stopped a basilisk from turning one of the celebrity guests at the local Comic-Con to stone. Ella thought she had heard about that one, but it didn't make her feel any more confident about her ability to juggle school and all these jobs. Thus, a system was created whereby Denji would take the jobs on weekdays with Nebula, paid in trees, while Ella minded the shop with Zack. On weekends, Ella would take over Nebula's role while the cat helped Zack look after things. All in all, things were busy but surprisingly peaceful in the coming weeks. Halloween was a strange holiday for the Bureau. On one hand, decorating was always fun. Nothing to make a tall man like Denji feel better about his inconvenient height than being able to hang up orange and black ribbons on the tallest shelves. On the other hand, they got more fake haunted house calls than any other time of year on the 31st of October. This did not deter Ella, however, from showing up with a large pumpkin sometime around the 27th. We got you guys a pumpkin, courtesy of the Masterson family, Ella exclaimed, attempting to haul in a pumpkin several times bigger than her own head. I thought we could make a jack-o'-lantern, she said as if she placed the pumpkin down with a thud. Denji glanced around the room from behind his newspaper. There's books everywhere. I'm not really sure we can do anything that messy in here. There's always the back porch. Then we could just carry it out in front, Ella offered. Soon enough, Ella, Denji, Zack on Ella's phone, and Nebula were gathered around the pumpkin on the back porch. Open? Ella asked. Thought you knew, Denji exclaimed. Dad always does it, Ella protested. The end of Nebula's scarf collided with her face in the equivalent of a facepalm. Amateurs. Here, give me the knife. Somewhat reluctantly, Ella handed Nebula a large kitchen knife Denji had brought out from his kitchen. With a quick swoop of her scarf, Nebula cut a perfect circle out of the top of the pumpkin, and with a few more swoops, she had removed the insides and dumped them onto the newspaper Denji had brought out. Once again, her scarf was miraculously dry. Honestly, I don't even have arms, and I have infinitely better dexterity than any of you, Nebula said proudly, puffing out her chest. Denji glared down at the pumpkin-covered newspaper. I was reading that. Yep, that illustration is great. Catherine, I can't actually hear you at the moment.
I muted my mic. Sorry about that. So thank you for reading that. All right, we have a few more questions here. If you could go anywhere and do anything with this series, what would you do?
I would take it to some really off the wall all Japanese animation studio, like Studio Trigger or something, and get them to make a ridiculous like out of it.
Very nice. Chobita Hollow would like some hints on the next book.
Names have power. That's not good.
Ooh, nice hint. I would advocate for a future meeting of the Klingons and the characters of the other London.
You may be surprised. We have some Proud Warrior race guys. We haven't seen them yet, but they exist.
Nice. Aces Delta asks, also, when can we expect book 2?
I have all of the chapters planned and written out. I just need to actually write about like 80% of them.
All right. The Maid's Longstaff says, I wondered about your use of the gender-neutral pronoun they for Magpie and what your thinking was behind who had gender-neutral and gender-specific pronouns.
That's a complicated question, but the best answer I can give is that characters read differently depending on gender and perceived societal notions of gender, and that's silly. So you know what? We should just have a couple of non-binary characters in there, varying degrees of non-binary. There's other non-binary characters other than Magpie. We haven't met them yet.
Very nice. Jacob Chickpea says, sorry if this was already answered, I got here late, but will we see more of the other worlds of the grand narrative in future books, or will they mostly take place on Earth?
Yes. Yes, we will.
Excellent.
I could elaborate on that, but that'd be spoilers.
It sure would. So, we've mentioned a little bit about your writing. How has the extended lockdown been affecting that, or affecting your life in general?
If the extended lockdown had not happened, I would have book 2 finished by now. It's not been fun. I like cafes. I like going places.
It is interesting how different people write. Just today, my husband was writing, and with him, he needs to have a very quiet, alone environment to be able to, get into the mood and really do some writing. So it's very interesting. Anonymous Typewriter says, can you please describe your writing process, how you bring a book from concept to page?
I am... Okay, so I actually am a very language-oriented person, and most chapters I have most of the wham lines and the first couple paragraphs completely laid out in my head, like already planned and word for word before I write it down. But if I don't have that ahead of time, then it's a lot harder to get into it. So I often end up writing in bursts.
Okay. Fiction L asks, do you hear the dialogue in your head or say it out loud?
I never say it out loud unless I'm reading.
Do you hear the dialogue in your head as you write it?
Yeah, I do. A couple characters have various voice claims.
Ryoker asks, what's the major inspiration behind Nebula? You mentioned many characters belonging to previous works. I wonder about hers.
Nebula was originally based on me trying to learn to draw. So for a while I had a Pokesona, which was like a personal avatar that was a Pokemon, and it was an Esper, which is a little gray cat thing. And I started trying to draw it as a actual cat to get a better handle on anatomy. And from there, it just developed into its own character. It developed into Nebula. And then I got an actual cat who was equally obsessed with cheese. Like the first night I had Nebby in my apartment, she walked right up to me while I was eating some craft dinner, and she reached into the bowl, pulled out a single piece of macaroni, ate it, and walked off.
How very cat-like. Any other fun cat stories to share?
Neb is the most supportive, great cat I could ever have, but please, Neb, please stop trying to break into the cupboards. I put baby locks on them. Please stop trying to break into them.
We were talking earlier before the stream about how you took a picture that you shared on Twitter of Nebby with some copies of the book in which she proudly appears. And at the same time, I have my copies of the book behind me in the room here, and I have both of my cats getting into that box at the same time. So
the book is, cats like it.
Yes, the book is cat approved. Thoroughly.
Yep.
Let's see, does anybody have any other questions or anything else they'd like to say? Anything else about the book or the series or writing that you'd like to share, Erynn?
Wish I had something funny to say here. You want me to tell the story of Joey the Budgie? Okay, I will not.
Well, the maid.
I will not tell the story of Joey the Budgie.
The Maid's Longstaff asks, what kind of music do you imagine populating the world of Other London?
That's tell the story of Joey the. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Music wise, okay, so I listened to a lot of kind of folk rock and Celtic rock while I was working on it early in, but there was also some synth rock and some kind of electro swing in there too. So I was, as to making a playlist to go with it, actually, I was considering making Spotify playlists for the characters.
Nice.
So keep up on that because I'll probably put that on the website if it ever happens.
What kind of music does Denji listen to?
Denji does not consume media.
Except for news.
Except for news. He doesn't really, he, like, if you hand him a pair of headphones and some music, he'll probably listen to it, but he doesn't have a lot of personal tastes.
Okay.
He's not good at that. He's not good at developing personal taste. He really likes tea though. He likes tea, he likes reading the news, he likes peace and quiet. He probably reads a pretty significant amount. I imagine he reads a lot of novels, but I don't really imagine that he's like super into talking about any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll never find out what kind of novels he likes.
So what do some of the other characters do in their spare time?
Well, we all know that Ella is an anime nerd and that Ari is also an anime nerd, but for a different kind of anime. Zach and Ella play a lot of video games together over the course of the game. It's like implied a few times that they're making Mario Maker levels together and that they're doing a lot of stuff like that. So that's fun. Nebula sleeps. Nebula's hobby is sleeping.
Being a cat. Yep, makes sense.
Yep, she does cat things. Um, what else? Um, Soul is classy and cultured and probably goes to theater a lot. And that's the best I got off now.
Sounds good. Aces Delta says, give a one-word summary of the book.
2-word summary: interdimensional shenanigans.
Nice. Anonymous Typewriter asks, is Nebula's true Fae form also recognizable as a cat, or is being a cat just a hobby of hers?
Uh, so most Fae are animal themed in this universe, and they're also kind of eldritch. So her true form is probably vaguely cat-like, kind of, but also kind of horrifying.
Is that 3 words? Interdimensional shenanigans.
Interdimensional is 1 word.
My dictionary is in the basement, so I can't double check that. Used a hyphen. Yes, it's a hyphenated word. If I had to summarize it in 1 word, I would probably just say fun. I'll be honest, vaguely cat-like eldritch entity still sounds hella cute to me.
Probably to me too, honestly.
I'll bet you can probably find a lot of art to that vein.
Yep. I don't know if I'll actually be able to do that design myself. My art sounds kind of cute for that.
I'm sure it is until it rips your face off. When you were writing this, what did you use? Pen and paper?
4 different netbooks.
In the course of 2 years?
Yeah, I broke and fixed a few of them over that time.
Wow. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Just reading this nice comment from the Maids Longstaff. Suspect this composition of mine was influenced by our discussions. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thanks. I'll just open that in another tab for later.
Yes, I shall do the same. I always love discovering new music.
Same.
And in fact, you mentioned a few bands or artists, composers of various kinds in the acknowledgements.
So Aviators is 1 person and is a lot of like synth rock and kind of stuff like that. And Aviators set a lot of the tone for the more serious stuff in the books. And there's a lot of points where they wrote songs that were like right on point with what I was writing at the time. So for about 3 albums there, I was just like embracing their music and enjoying it. Meanwhile, Captain Tractor is an old family friend of my parents. Captain Tractor is a group of people, and they do a combination of like kind of folk rock and country kind of stuff. And they're honestly, I love their music. They're just so good lyrically.
Cool.
And yeah.
Ryaker asks, once the books have reached a certain point, can we expect any spin-offs? And if so, following who in the story?
I have a couple of prequels planned.
Cool. That's
about it, though.
Okay, you definitely alluded to a lot of history with several of the characters, actually.
Yep.
And I'm certainly looking forward to having some questions answered in the next book and possibly books beyond.
Hmm.
What is the likelihood of Erynn's book being eventually picked up by other publishers? So right now, I have exclusive rights to publish the book, and we set out the terms of that in our contract.
We
So
did.
I will be continuing to publish for the meantime, for the foreseeable future. Um, and as long as Erynn is happy with me publishing it, I'm happy to continue doing so.
Thanks.
And as
I think
go ahead.
I think he was actually asking about that because of a couple of offhand things I listed when talking about the possibility of it being sold in stores in America.
So the book is actually distributed through Ingram. So that's the major book distributor for North America. So you can actually order it in to major bookstores. You may not be able to find it on the shelves, but if you just go up to the desk and say, "Hey, can I order in this book?" Or, of course, you can go on the website. I know it's on Barnes and Noble. Should be Books a Million. All those major bookstores. And if there's any particular store that you'd like to order the book from, and they don't have it, do feel free to message me, and I'll see what I can do about getting it available there. But yeah,
Cool.
I had a lot of fun working on this book, and as I've told Erynn, it was a joy to work on, and really happy to have been able to bring it into the world, and been having a great time tonight. Thank you, everybody, for all your comments and questions. Anything else you'd like to add, Erynn?
Thank you all for coming. Nebula will never share her tiny Gouda baby bells with you.
If we pre-ordered the book, when can we expect to receive it? If you pre-ordered directly from Brainlag, I shipped off all of the pre-orders on Thursday, so hopefully they should be arriving pretty soon. If you pre-ordered directly from me, I also you should have received tracking information. For other retailers, I can't really say. I don't know exactly how they work, but should be soon. If there are any issues, do feel free to contact me, or contact the retailer you bought it from, etc. And yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. It's been great to Nebula stole them. Where is the tracking info? So for orders placed directly from me, you should be getting tracking info from Canada Post. I input everybody's email address in for Canada Post, so you should have gotten it by now. All current orders have been shipped. Yeah, I think we got our tracking info by email, so good. Glad to hear that. Doing these direct sales is something new for Brainlag this year. It's not something that I have done previously, but of course, with conventions and in-person events canceled, it's a lot harder to get the books out. But it's nice to be able to sell books directly to people, and clearly people have been enjoying it. I want to thank you again to everybody for pre-ordering the book. And yeah, thanks for being here. Will this session be available online after? Yes, I am going to. Actually, you can watch it again on Twitch. So you will be able to just go again to twitch.tv/brainlagbooks and watch it again. At least for a couple weeks, I think. I guess Twitch eventually removes old videos, but I will be downloading it so I can upload it to YouTube. So please stay tuned to BrainLag social media or on our website. You can sign up for our mailing list, and I will make announcements about when it is available. So,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you. This has been great. And I hope everybody has a great evening and a great rest of your weekend.
Mm-hmm. See you.
Bye.